Welcome to the Cartography of Memory, an actual play of the electric state from Stories with Dice. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode.
Right, well, none of that nonsense of introductions and stuff. We'll just jump straight into it because time is of the essence. Right, well, where are we? We are on
the side of the road in some creepy-ass, weird place with a bunch of silos and radio towers and a church and a creepy nun.
I don't need to say anything. I think Marco has pretty much said it all. So, this 20-foot tall...
Oh yeah, I forgot about the 20-foot tall, creepy-ass robot.
Connected to a lot of people as they are walking along the landscape, through the fields and through the grasslands, up towards the road, and heading in your direction straight for where the church and the silos are.
Do we have a sense for, how long it's going to take? Sorry, do we have a sense for how long it's going to take to figure out what's wrong with the bus?
No. Yeah. That'd be too easy, right?
Over my, traveling around Pacifica, I've seen these things before out in the wilderness.
You have. You've seen sort of in the distance these robots that are controlled by, and essentially it's multiple people controlling the drone in the same way that IG-88 is controlled by whoever is behind said drone.
Or is the drone controlling them?
Well, that could be it. Well, there are rumors that is exactly what it is. There are cults of the Neuroscape where people lose themselves to IIs, the AI essentially of the electric state, where a personality cult arrives around a digital presence, and indeed, sometimes the digital presence controls the people who are controlling it in the physical world.
Are we in danger? So if Roger has seen these things before, Roger, do you have a sense that we're in danger? Are these things dangerous?
Well, he's never seen these up close. He's seen these things. And I believe probably people have probably, he's been traveling, have talked about these things. And sort of they're weird. I don't mess with those. Nobody really probably messes with those things because they're weird and tech things.
But you probably reckon it's about as dangerous as a normal cult coming to town would be.
You mean like a nun in a black and red habit?
I know.
So it's heading towards it's not heading directly towards us, it's kind of heading to the side of us towards the other part, the big structures.
Right. I mean, you are sort of vaguely in its route around you. You don't know if it's going to be directly in your route, but it'll be coming in this direction.
So we don't know if it's noticed us, basically.
No. I mean, you're in a bright red bus, a big red bus, on the side of the road, in front of a bunch of silos and a small church. If it's got any kind of sensors or anything, it probably will have spotted you by now.
I think it's possibly interested in picking up more people in its electrical tendrils.
Just don't put a neurocaster on.
Well, IG's safe then.
You both continue to work on the electrics. This thing gets closer and closer. You can see there are 13 people attached to neurocasters, which are attaching to the large drone. As it gets closer, you can see that on the drone there is a white cross or stylized cross in multiple different forms plastered around the drone, some small, some large, and you can see that as the drone is walking, it's walking at the same speed as the people attached to it, and they are sort of shuffling, almost, dare I use the Z word, almost like in a zombie state as they kind of walk. They don't stumble or anything, but they shuffle attached to their neurocasters. And as they get closer, you can feel a second emanation of this buzz and this sort of static coming from this creature. And then there's an undercurrent of this this almost like moan, like a low moan that kind of comes with it. It sounds like the chanting appears to be the moan appears to be a type of chant by those people attached to the drone.
And that's what we had heard over the radio?
It sounds very similar, yeah. As they get closer, it starts to sort of peel away, so from the bus, as if it's stepping around you. But to do so, all the people in the tendrils have to like step around in one direction. The drone then steps around. It's kind of a cumbersome way of moving, except for one tendril on one of the neurocasters. This person comes towards, I guess you come, Meadow, because you're probably the one closest. As the person comes towards you, you can see they're wearing sort of jeans, boots, what looks like a plaid jacket, and they've got just a standard neurocaster on their head. There's loads of dust and dirt on the person, and a lot of like burrs around his feet and from all the grass and all the grass seeds. And as the rest kind of make their way and shuffle towards their direction, he kind of shuffles in your direction. And he says, "Make way for the coral grievers. Make way. Who are you? Are you here for the vigil? Are you here to witness?"
We're on our way somewhere, and we've just had a little bit of a breakdown. We're attempting to fix our transportation, and we'll be out of your way.
In which case, it doesn't look at you. You can't see its face, or the majority of its face. You can just see his chin sort of sticking out from underneath the neurocaster. And he turns, and he sort of like gives this weird wave as if to say thank you, or hello, or goodbye. But it's kind of halting. And then he steps in line with the rest of them as they head towards the church and the large silos.
IG-88, how's the repairs going?
Roger, you find a loose connection.
I guess I'll go get a tool that'll fix those back together a bit more substantially.
So while he's getting those tools, IG-88 will respond to Raymond by playing yet another clip from Star Wars. You hear Han Solo's voice. "Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid."
Which I have, IG-88. We just need to be aware that this is, I'm guessing, a rather weird cult that's going on here. And cults and I have a very bad connection.
And then he starts blasting Love Removal Machine by the Cult.
Good song. But I've got my hand on my weapon, which is in my pocket.
You can see that Tiffany's now come off the bus, and she's kind of like looking to see what's going on with this large drone making its way towards the church. And it kind of like puts its arm out to sort of almost casually rest on one of the silos.
So you've been keeping up with this, Tiffany?
She says, "My God, I've not. That's massive. That's incredible."
Is the guy with the dog back on the bus? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's basically not on the bus. He's just sort of like off to the side next to one of the wheels, just looking at it. He's kind of put his dog on a leash.
When I see that she stepped off the bus. Yeah. I'll pop my head around the corner from the engine under the hood and say, "Roger's just gone to get a tool. We'll have this hunk of junk moving in no time."
Okay.
Take your seats, everyone. Take your seats.
Paul and Tiffany look at each other and go, "Sure." And they kind of get on the bus. And as Paul kind of gets up to you, Raymond, he says, "If you need any backup, let me know."
Yeah, thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
He kind of gets on the bus as well, leaving you three outside of the bus, then those two in the bus. And you can see that as you're sort of like getting everything fixed, shutting everything down, I guess, the drone starts to hum. And then all the people that are attached to the drone are all sort of starting to sing in that kind of choral way. They're not actually using any real words from what you can tell, but they're all singing. And you can hear that as they start to sing, the intensity of the static in the air and the pulse seems to quicken, and it seems to sort of rise, and just the backs of your necks and everything sort of start to stand up, and they appear to be singing in some kind of vigil of some sort. Okay, but yeah, the bus is fixed.
Vote we get moving quickly.
Roger just kind of like stands there and just sort of like watches them for a while. This thing, quite almost like sort of morbid curiosity as it was.
The nun comes out of the church, and she's holding a book, and she is sort of got this face regalia on with sort of this cowl that's over her head, and she is reading something from the book. Again, it sounds like Latin maybe, and as she's talking, all the people that are connected to the drone are also saying the same words or just repeating them just after her. As she kind of takes another step forward, you can see that she is connected, the back of the sort of cowl, by loads of wires which go back on into the church. And as she talks, you can see that the lights on top of the silos start to sort of like become stronger, as if they're sort of like the electricity feeding from the church or whatever seems to be doing something to the silos, and you can feel the static getting stronger and stronger, and there's a pulse that's kind of pulsing. As you do that, the radio on the bus comes back to life, and you can hear them chanting through the radio.
Roger, I think we should get out of here.
Yeah, a little too Margaret Atwood for me. Let's go.
Okay. He kind of like tears his eyes away from like the spectacle.
As you do that, she points in your direction, and almost like through the radio, through the CB radio, she says, as she points to you, once you're named, the pulse will not stop shaping you. And then she goes back to chanting again.
So that came from the radio.
It came from the radio, but she was pointing at you, and it was her voice.
But I never spoke to her, so I'd be like...
No. But you can hear the conversation.
Oh, yeah, true. That's a good point. And I'll just be like, yeah, I guess I'll be like, that's a bit, sort of be like, odd. But then sort of gesture for the other people to get on the bus, Raymond and IG8.
Definitely get on.
Yep, I'm on the bus. Right behind Roger.
Drive away?
Yeah, if that's but I'll be watching in like the rear view mirror, like this woman stand thing, and sort of like the spectacle. Kind of will be watching like fully ahead. I'll just be sort of like concentrating the mirrors on this thing behind.
Sure.
Because I'm still kind of interested in whatever this is.
Yeah, you kind of like can see them as you're driving away. It takes a little while because the silos are quite large on your left-hand side where you pulled over, and so yeah, you can see the large drone getting smaller and smaller in your rearview mirror, but all the sounds are kind of washing over all of the sort of like 60-odd silos that are down the side of the road. And actually, as you drive, you can see there are more silos. There are acres of silos, and you were just on one part of it. You can see and you can almost still feel the static going across the larger area of silos.
And as we're driving away, you hear Lando Calrissian's voice say, "She's the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy."
As you move out of sight of the silos, and you continue with your journey, the static fades and the sun continues to beat down on your bus. It's still hot, it's still arid, but you continue on down dusty roads, but the static disappears. What song is particularly playing at this moment? Carmelo.
Basket Case. Green Day.
Yeah, so as the song's playing, you kind of blink for a second, Raymond. And the woman that you were thinking of, there's an uncanny resemblance to the nun. It's only you just like, what? You just remember that as you're driving away, as if by getting further away, you can remember more.
Okay, shit.
You mean the woman from his intro?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Wait a minute. That can't... I'm just confused. Like, that can't be. That can't be. How is that possible? Part of me wants to turn back around. IG88, she's reminding me of someone.
Who?
This lady I met a long time ago. I think we should... Somebody I've been thinking about ever since she disappeared. I'm thinking maybe we need to turn around. I want to turn around, but what do you think? You and Roger both. I think we should turn around. I think I know her. I've been trying to find her.
He says, "You want to go back to that crazy shit?"
Sounds insane. I know it sounds crazy, but I've been thinking about what happened to her. And if she is her,
what happened to her is a whole lot of crazy.
Yeah, I know, and I sound crazy saying it, don't I? But I just got this burning desire to know who she is, if it's her.
Roger sort of turns around and then gestures, like with his hand, sort of like turn back, and then shakes his head, and then makes a gesture of the doors opening, and walking to you.
So I can go back if I want to. Is that what you're saying, Roger? Great. Thanks for backing me up.
He will let you off the bus if you want, but he's not going to turn the whole bus around.
All right, well, for the moment I'll let it go, but I have a strange feeling that I might be seeing her again. And then I take out my bottle of liquor and put it to my lips and take a chug and go, of all the gin joints in all the towns, she had to walk into mine.
Okay. You let it go.
But it's always in the back of my mind.
It will be. We have some mechanics for that, which I'm going to keep to myself for the short moment. Okay. You continue on. The landscape changes a little bit as you kind of get from the sort of like plains going further on into Pacifica. You get closer to a bit more like civilization. There are lots more small farms and towns and little small towns on the edges of larger cities. And you are making good time. By the time you are getting close to, which would be sort of maybe about halfway, you kind of can see that there's a convenient place to sort of like stop, and you stop off at a convenience store, and there's a small sort of gas station rest stop, which you can kind of all get out, stretch your legs, get snacks or drinks or anything that you want.
Do we need gas?
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably need some gas, but that's something that Roger will take care of.
Is it late at like night?
No, it's probably afternoon, sort of maybe
okay,
sort of late morning, early afternoon. So it's not terrible. You know, you've made good work of driving this way. You didn't get waylaid too much at the last place that you had to stop. Is there anything particular you want to get while at the stop? Is there anything refreshing? You should all have some money on your, probably not a lot, on your character sheets. If there's anything you'd like to buy, feel free. You can buy anything up to that value.
Well, IG-88 doesn't eat a drink, so...
This is true. So you should be fine.
Any chewing gum in the shop?
Yeah, there's chewing gum. It's not a full shop by any stretch of the imagination, but there is bits and pieces here and there. There's detritus in the back. You can see like a large gravetic truck, which looks like it's crashed quite some time ago, and it's rusting. You can see there are a lot of crows and stuff sitting on it. You can also see that across the way there is a large structure that has at some point burnt down. You can also see 2 or 3 grav vehicles which have obviously crashed into it. And there's the unmistakable look of scorched earth as bombs have been dropped or something at some point in the past. You go into the gas station, and there is a drone looking at you. A bright-faced drone with a cheeky red roses on. He has got like a little hat which is sort of like strawberry coloured, like a red and white strawberries and cream kind of coloured hat, and he's got this little lapel, like this little PVC lapel. And as you come into the shop, he says, "Good day to you."
Do they have any cigarettes in this place?
We do.
Any particular brand or just generic? Got any Marlboro?
He says, "No, but we do have some Senna."
Well, I'll take whatever you got. I'll smoke it.
They're menthol.
Fine.
He gives you a terrible cost for them. They're expensive, but, you know, they're here. You hand over your ill-gotten gains or your gotten gains, and he says, "Why, thank you very much."
You're welcome, buddy. Relax a bit. So
I'm completely relaxed, sir. Says this face.
Can I smoke in here?
No smoking, sir. No smoking, sir. And he kind of like points to the no smoking sign, which then blinks on and off.
Is he a drone or a robot?
He's a robot.
Oh, he's a robot. Okay.
He's a robot. Yeah, he's not actually a drone.
Well, I take a step outside and light one up and pick a fine time to quit smoking. After what I've just seen, I think I deserve a few of these.
As soon as you take a drag of the cigarette, you feel much better.
I'm just shadowing Roger wherever he goes. I'm going.
He'll just be, since he's not really talking type, he's just going to be browsing the shelves. So the 2 things he'll probably be looking out for is 1, a pack of chewing gum, as I said, and maybe some trucker pills, Benazine, I think.
Benazine?
These seems like things that might be in a truck setup.
Sure. Yeah, there's a small mini pharmacy. It's an automated mini pharmacy, so you can just pay for it, and it kind of automates everything for you. Absolutely, there are the drugs you require there. You need to have already registered, which you would have done. You put in your registration details and you do that, and you kind of wait for the drugs to be dispensed. The drugs get dispensed on the little sort of screen. It kind of gives you your sort of running total and, all your details. And it says your name and all the rest of it. And then it says at the end of it, take the pills. You don't know what's around the corner. And then it flashes off.
I just sort of blink a couple of times as if I might have just imagined that, probably. Maybe you just need these pills, whatever. And I'll go pay for them or whatever, or take the gum up to the little robot guy. And
good day, sir. And how are you?
And I will just place down the gum and then look at him.
Gives you a cost. And he says, anything else for you, sir? Petrol? He says, sorry, I say petrol.
Gas.
He's in America. He says, gas, sir?
He nods.
He says, cack out your tongue, sir?
He nods again.
The robot continues on and gives you back your change. Thank you very much for shopping at SN Gas.
He gives a thumbs up and then almost probably walks into IG. He's right behind him and then
stumble.
Oh, excuse me.
Roger sort of looks down at him being like, okay, walks around him and walks to the door and then sort of turns back to see what IG's doing.
Wait, where are you going?
Oh, I was walking out the door and then at the doorway he's turning around to see what you're doing.
Yeah, he's following you out the door.
And he kind of just looks a bit concerned, but then just kind of tired, and then just walks out and walks past Raymond on the way out.
He keeps pace with you and he's walking beside you now instead of shadowing you. And you hear Tarkin's voice from Star Wars. Yet another clip. The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out of the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion.
Roger kind of looks down at the little drone and just looks a bit confused. He doesn't quite get what you're saying.
You've never seen Star Wars?
He shakes his head.
Is he shaking his head no or yes?
He's saying no.
My God. We must rectify this immediately. Next chance we get, we are renting all 3 films. And thank God it's 1997. There are only 3 Star Wars movies.
Only problem is, they're the special editions.
Oh, right.
No.
Oh,
sorry,
no.
George. Sorry, George, for all the hate.
No hate. Nothing but love.
Yes. On video. Or maybe on DVD.
DVD, yeah.
Lucky. Yeah.
Depends if they got far enough into the 90s before society collapsed.
I think the originals were still on Laserdisc for a while.
There was definitely Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they were still making Laserdiscs.
So if we can find Laserdiscs, I'm saying if in the game, if we find Laserdiscs, we can get the originals.
Yeah.
We have to find a Laserdisc player. It was hard enough to find a Laserdisc player in the 90s where the world wasn't falling apart. You're going to go to a military base and then put a Laserdisc into a supercomputer and be like...
So just could come across a Blockbuster. They're probably still around.
Yeah. Well, actually not too far from here.
It's a Blockbuster Video.
It's a Blockbuster Video. No, actually, not far from here is a place where you grew up, Margot.
I was made in a factory.
In fact, not far from here, the Museum of Forgetting is here, which is an archive of all of the past where your parents live or lived.
How far away is it from us?
It's probably 30 miles.
Is it on the way to...
Kind of on the way, yeah. You would have to take one extra road for 30 miles and then come back onto the road that you're on.
Hey, Roger, we need to make a stop.
Roger looks down quizzically. There we go.
Take this next right when I tell you. Won't be long. It's just something I got to see.
Well, sure, you stop for him.
Hey, stopping and going back are 2 different things.
He looks at his watch and then sort of taps it and then gestures at you.
Is he saying no?
Yeah, I think you might be able to say how long will this take?
Ah, okay. I shrug.
He gives you a look being you've got to do a bit better than that.
10 minutes.
He looks up as if he's doing a mental or sort of calculation to his head. Then sort of looks at the weather. And then it's he nods.
I mean, what time of day is it? The afternoon?
It's afternoon. You just stop for lunch, kind of thing.
All right, so I'll give him directions.
You get directions. It doesn't take very long to kind of go off there. It's just literally another road which kind of runs almost parallel to this road, and you kind of make your way to what looks like a large aircraft hangar, which is part of a larger complex, which could have been at some point maybe a military complex, but that's probably back in the 60s, maybe 70s. So it's long gone by now. But the setup is still the same. You can see on-base living quarters, but as you're getting closer, you can see this large aircraft hangar has got neon signs on. The neon sign says, "Welcome to the Museum of Forgetting." There's a large car park. You can see maybe a handful of cars parked in the car park. So there's a couple of spaces for buses, like tourist buses and stuff to pull into.
So once Roger parks, IG-88 will step off the bus, and as he's doing that, he plays a clip from Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. You hear William Shatner's voice say, "Everyone, remember where we parked."
Roger will turn to everyone else and just be like, make a gesture of like 1 hour.
Yep, they'll get off.
I said 10 minutes. Now I'm getting
He doesn't
an hour.
believe you.
Smart
Considering
not to.
how long that took, he's like, yeah, this is probably going to meet back in an hour, but if this takes 10 minutes, it'll take 10 minutes. And everyone else might want to, other people might want to go to this museum. Like,
they
little
kind of get up.
Oh.
Yeah, so I go to the door to the museum. This place seems like it's probably closed, right?
It's open.
It is open.
It is open. There is a whole load of sort of gravel and dirt and stuff that's in the doorway, which is kind of half holding open one of the sides of the doors. You can hear the sound of music coming from the inside, sort of like this trippy kind of kids music that might be from some kind of arcade machine or something. You kind of remember this when you were a kid. You definitely remember the sound. And
of like Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But you also remember it being a labyrinth of various different rooms, all made up to be slightly different. So there's sort of like ones with mirrors, some with large furry creatures in, and there's another one that looks like the Serengeti. Just like you just remember it being very kind of like a mix mash of things, which was fun when you were a kid, right? Because it's a bunch of different things to see.
Is there anyone here?
You kind of stick your head around. There's a reception desk with a little booth, and you can see that there's someone in the booth.
I will go up to the booth.
Yep, you go up to the booth. You can see a clown in the booth, and the clown is kind of
clowns.
Completely still, even better. And the clown is just standing or sitting in the booth.
Is it like a real person in a clown suit, or is it like a...
It's difficult to tell. It's wearing makeup.
Tap on the... Is there like glass or something? Or
Yeah, there's like this perspex that you can kind of tap on.
Yeah, I'll tap
There's
on
the
it.
kind of like little round hole that you put money in and out of, that kind of thing.
Right. Hello?
These eyes like move downwards at an angle towards you. The rest of the body stays stock still, but the eyes kind of move.
Now, this is a mechanical thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's a robot.
Hello?
It just stares at you. Doesn't say anything.
All right, I'm just going to walk away. I mean, can I enter the rest of the museum without...
Yeah. So it's basically quite an open plan area. You can see that there's...
So there's like no need to get a ticket or anything.
It doesn't look that way. Well, if you do, the ticket's not working, right? You can see as you look closer in, there's this large archway and it says orientation. And then down the sides, you can see quite a lot of things inscribed down them, but you can't quite read them. They're sort of like they're handwritten down this sort of like weird archway that you have to go through to get into the rest of the complex. What are the rest of you doing? What's Raymond and Roger doing?
I'm going to look at this museum. I'm just going to walk through the exhibits as they come. So if the orientation is the logical next room, I will proceed that, but I will be looking and taking interest in everything that's here, as I would be.
Yeah, I've been sticking a little close to IG-88, so I've come up behind him and peered at this clown. Yeah, basically just keeping an eye on IG-88, keeping close by.
Tiffany and Paul have also come into the building. Tiffany's like, "Oh my God, look at it all." Paul looks at the clown, goes, "Fucking hate clowns," and he gives the booth a kick.
IG-88 gives him the thumbs up.
He's got his hands in his pocket and he's just kind of like looking around. Does not look best pleased.
Is there some place that looks like it might be like an office or a place where the people who worked here would be?
So as you kind of walk through the arch, you suddenly feel this overwhelming emotion of coming home. What is that emotion?
Sadness.
The same question goes to you, Roger, as you kind of like make your way towards the archway. You can see that it says memory gates. That's what they're called. You can see that there's loads of different inscriptions down the side. Some of them are handwritten, some of them are sort of etched in. And as you sort of like have a look, there's someone's written a whole load of emotions down the side. What's the first thing? Pick an emotion that you'd hone in on. How are you feeling at this moment?
Is this to do with home or just to do with being here in this general place?
Just being here.
Melancholy, I would say maybe. It's a bit sad, this place. It's seen better days, but it's just kind of like, you know, it's a totem to the past as it was, but you know.
The same question goes for you.
Raymond feels nostalgia for a time of innocence when things seem simpler.
I don't like it when the game master makes notes.
Ask questions and makes notes. What's that about? It's like, hang on, Ed hasn't done this for other games. That's not right. Right, yeah. So you kind of like go in. Immediately as you go through, there are barrage of various things from the 80s, 70s and 80s. There's lots of like pinball machines. And as you've kind of got into sort of like the 90s, you've got a lot more of the actual arcade machines. There's a whole load of those. There is a large central area, which has got a large faux mat. And on the mat, there are seats. There are like, it's almost designed like a bit of a cafe. You can imagine that there might be a kitchen just around the corner and someone would come and serve guests with their sort of like, you know, horrendously priced Cokes and sandwiches that too dry and too over fizzy and, you know, the usual kind of thing. And sitting on one of the sofas as you kind of all come in is a person. And this person actually looks like a person rather than
creepy robot clown?
A creepy robot clown, indeed.
Is it can you describe this person?
You can see someone who is probably in her 50s, maybe. She's wearing a floral dress. She's got short hair and she's very slight. As she sees you, she stands up and she says, "Hello."
Do I recognize her at all?
There's something familiar about her, but you don't know what. She says, welcome. Please, can I get you something to drink? Maybe something to eat?
What is your name?
I'm Gel. Nice to meet you.
Gel?
Yes.
Does that name ring a bell?
Make an empathy roll. Let's see how the roll goes in session 2. Well, look at that.
One whole success.
Ooh, one success. You know, my empathy is 2, by the way, which means I'm rolling 2 dice.
You kind of look at her. The more you kind of look at her, you kind of get like this memory. You get this memory of being lost in the labyrinth that is underneath this sort of like hangar. That's where the sort of like the rest of the museum is. And you remember not being able to find your way out. You remember being alone. You remember not actually being able to find your parents, but you do remember finding someone who looks very similar to this lady. It might not be her. It's difficult to kind of, the memory's a little bit hazy, but immediately you felt that you were safe when they found you. And then you think they took you for something to drink, and then you felt better, and then you met your parents. So it's that kind of like, you got lost, they found you, now you feel a little bit safer. And that's the kind of memory, though. And the emotion that kind of comes from that.
What is my mother's name?
What is your mother's name?
I knew you were going to say that. Let's say her name was Clara.
Clara, okay.
I will ask this woman, do you know her, Clara?
Says, I do. Or I did.
When was the last time you saw her?
Been a while now. What year is it? There's so 97... So maybe 92?
And is that about the last time I saw her?
No, you saw her way before then. That's more recent when you last saw her. When you last saw her a long time ago when you were a kid and you left.
Okay.
So she says, wait.
What were you doing? What was she doing the last time you saw her?
She says she was looking for her son.
Fuck you, Ed.
3 more weeks of this, Marco.
Give me that bliss.
She went back down to the vaults. I haven't seen her since.
Where are the vaults?
She says, she points down below her and says, the memory vaults.
Wasn't she trying to help someone?
She was.
And who was this person?
Who was it, Marco? You're going to get a lot of this with this game.
This is part of the stuff that he doesn't know.
Well, maybe you'll have to try and find out. It's almost like you need to sort of investigate what's happening.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking her questions. Is there like a computer terminal in here?
There is.
I'm going to try to access it.
So, as a drone, you can only access the global stuff. You can't access local.
I remember reading that. Okay.
But that's fine. You can definitely try and do a search. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for information on Clara and any last sort of details or notes or articles or anything like that might reference what she was doing and who she may have been with and or helping.
Okay. Well, I believe you have got a talent that will help you for this.
I do. I have a hacker talent.
I'm presuming you're not actually going to hack the system. You're just looking for the information to start with.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you can make a wits roll for me, please, you get to add +2 because of your hacker talent. And I believe, what's your drone? I don't know if your drone gives you any extra bonuses for that, because I think it's meant to be for using for something else.
Well, when I click on wits, so I have 5 dice because I have 5 wits, and then it adds a +2 for network.
Yep. Yeah, that's for your drone, I think. And also for your nearest, so that'd be right. So just add an extra +2.
I'm adding an extra +2. Okay. Got it.
So it should give you quite a bit of dice.
It didn't add the extra +2, but I have 3 successes.
Okay, that's fine. You don't need to add the other +2. Yes, so you come up with a lot of information around Clara. Thank you for dropping this back into my ballpark. Yes, so Clara is married to her husband. Who
would be my dad.
That'd be your dad, who is?
Peter.
So Clara's married to Peter. They have got their residence as this address. They were one of the founding members of this place, and it is a franchised museum, mostly of old things. There's maybe sort of a handful left in North America, but this is the only one that you know of, because who knows what's happened to the rest of North America after the war. And this is where you kind of grew up amongst all the weird things from the past. They have not got any other addresses. It doesn't look like they've moved anywhere else. What would you like to know?
Does it mention the last time she went into the lower vault and what she was going there to get?
So this information is just about them. The last time that when you look, that would be a local search, but you can't access that. But you're kind of like trying to have a look at when she can, literally physically on the computer. And it looks like in 1992 was the last time she went into the lower vault.
All right, so that tracks with what the woman said. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. What does Roger and Raymond want to do? So, Roger, what are you doing while this is happening?
Well, while this is going interesting, Roger vaguely, seeing like the 80s stuff, brings back sort of like a vague memory of back when he was working in his previous life, that he has this vague recollection of a pinball machine in a break room. And he remembers he used to be like really good at that pinball machine. So what he's going to do is he's going to have a go at this pinball machine.
Well, you go over to the pinball machines, and there is the exact same pinball machine that you used to play with.
Oh well, just sort of like touch it and see get you know, that's sort of like you feel get recognition, sort of touch recognition almost of like how it used to handle the sort of like.
As soon as you touch it, your fingers go to the sides of the pinball machine. It's almost as if the worn fingers along the side, because you'd use your 2 fingers to sort of like hit the buttons and stuff. Where your other 2 or 3 fingers might go, it's worn from other people using the same pinball machine. It's almost like it's the one that you've used.
Yeah, these are my indentations. So I'll put the spring and pop the ball up and see if I can.
As you pull the spring back,
yeah,
the spring snaps and breaks, which kind of feels like how your life feels.
Yeah. I just kind of look at the sort of like because I assume the thing came out and it's just kind of in my hand now.
Yeah, the sort of like the handle has kind of like done that. The ball has kind of gone up, doesn't even quite reach to get out, and then it kind of just rolls back down to where it started from.
No, I just sort of spend some time sort of like looking at the sort of handle in my hand and sort of like rolling it around to sort of get that sort of feeling, and then just sort of like bask in the sort of neon light of the.
As you do that,
machine.
There's a sharp piece of metal that catches your hand. It draws just a little tiny bit of blood. This is definitely not the handle you remember. It's not the same. It's almost like it should be, but yeah, it's just a little sad. It should be what it should be, but it just isn't. Raymond.
Yeah, well, I've let AG88 go off and have his conversation. I could see, and I've been distracted by a room filled with vinyl records, and kind of pulls me back to a time when the war was drawing to a close in about 85, wasn't it? Yeah, but still there was a feeling of hope in the air, and so some of the music gives you that feeling. And there's a nice little portable stereo. It looks like the one I had in my flat in the corner. And
There's a turntable and everything to play it. There's a sign that says, pick what you want, play what you want.
So I'm flipping through vinyls and trying to find...
What's the vinyl that you always wanted that you never quite got to own?
Oh, yeah, see, Roxy Music Avalon.
Yeah, you're flicking through it and it is indeed there.
Oh, I just drawn to it. I just pick it right up out, pull it out of the sleeve nice and slowly. You could just smell that old vinyl smell. And put it on the turntable, and the first song, More Than This, comes on.
Yep.
Fantastic.
It is amazing. The feeling you get from that, just the nostalgia from back then, the sense of hope that it kind of gives you, plays through the air as the music sort of starts to carry out through and into sort of like the cafe area that IG88 is. And sort of like the gaming area just kind of catches the edges of that music where Roger is.
And those first few lyrics just really encapsulate the moments. There's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this, and that just really encapsulates the moment.
Yeah, and it just brings everything sort of like together, which you get this sort of like this nice feeling of hope that kind of brings everything together, specifically for you. For the others, not so much, but it kind of, you can just kind of make it out. And as you're sort of like flicking through the computer responds and a chat window pops up and it says, "My son, come find me." And then ...